Hi guys, welcome to a video, and in today's video we're just going to be looking at what is on the lesbian film menu for 2025. Is there anything appetizing on this year's list? Well, that all depends on what your tastes are, baby. I just hope there's a vegan option. The first film on the list is Perfect, directed by Millicent Hales and co-written by Millicent Hales and Kendra Miller. Perfect stars Julia Fox, Ashley Moore, and apparently Shane from the L Word. Sold to the highest lesbian bidder. The film follows a wealthy pregnant woman living out an escapist fantasy who ends up falling in love with a younger woman. However, their sudden relationship is complicated by an upcoming birth, turbulent social events, and clashing values about the world's uncertain future. This honestly sounds like it has the potential to be amazing. I mean, for one, the cast look like they have been personally sculpted by the goddess Venus. And maybe by one or two LA plastic surgeons as well. No judgments from me. And the premise suggests that the film is going to touch upon some complex and interesting themes, which may make for a refreshing and thought-provoking watch. However, since the trailer hasn't even been released yet, it's too early to make a fair call on how this film will be. But from what we can see so far, personally, I have a feeling that this film will be one of the more intelligent and interesting lesbian film releases this year. Will I have to end up eating my words? Stay tuned. The next film on the list is Honey Don't. Directed by Ethan Coen and co-written by Ethan Coen and his wife Trisha Cook. Honey Don't is the second installment of Coen's lesbian B-movie trilogy. Starring Aubrey Plaza, Margaret Qualley and Chris Evans, the film is set in Bakersfield, California, and focuses on a private investigator, a cult leader, and a mystery woman. Now, was Drive Away Dolls one of the worst lesbian films I've ever seen? Yes. And will this film likely be just as bad? Yes. But will I be watching this purely for sapphic Aubrey Plaza reasons? Also yes. There's not much I wouldn't sit through for that woman. The next film on the list is a Christy Martin biopic, directed by David Michôd and co-written by David Michôd and Mira Folks and starring Sydney Sweeney. The film tells the story of Christy Martin, the most successful female boxer of the 90s, and has been described by Michôd as a female Rocky. The film will also explore Christy Martin's identity as a gay woman who grew up in a conservative town in West Virginia in the 1990s. Honestly, this looks really interesting. I knew nothing about Christy Martin before researching her for this film, so already I'm excited about having discovered a new piece of both lesbian and women's history, and that alongside the fact that, you know, maybe I have a little thing for women with muscles, I don't know, means that this biopic is something I'm definitely going to be seated for. Keeping in theme with lesbian and women's history, next on the list is Sally. Directed by Christina Costantini, Sally is a documentary about Sally Ride and her groundbreaking journey as the first American woman in space. And in this documentary, Ride's life partner, Tam O'Shaughnessy, tells the story of their hidden romance and the sacrifices that accompanied their extraordinary life together. I think this documentary is going to be a really interesting and thought-provoking production. And whilst I imagine most people are aware of who Sally Ride is, many aren't aware of why or how her sexuality impacted her journey and career. So this documentary is going to be enlightening in that regard. Sally Ride is a huge source of inspiration to so many women and just generally cool as so I will be seated for this. Next on the list is Mother Mary. Written and directed by David Lowery, Mother Mary stars Anne Hathaway and Michaela Cole, and has been described as an epic melodrama. Hathaway will play a pop star who gets involved in a romance with her iconic fashion designer played by Cole. The movie will also feature original tunes by Charlie XCX and Jack Antonoff. This sounds like a gay man's fever dream, but okay. Now, it's too soon to pass a fair judgment on whether or not this film is going to be good, but personally speaking, I don't really care for David Lowery's work, and I can't shake the feeling that similar to Ethan Coen's shitty lesbian trilogy, this film was born out of wanting to take advantage of a growing queer market with the hopes of relevancy and head pats, as opposed to being a genuine creative vision or thoughtful piece of work. work. That said, will I be there to lick up the precious Anne Hathaway and Michaela Cole sapphic crumbs anyway? Once again, yes. In my opinion, I think this film could go either way. It will either be really entertaining and fun, or it will end up being a Drive Away Dolls 2.0 situation. What I will say is, from the talent that Lowry has scored for this film, I feel like either he has good connections or the script has to be at least halfway decent. Let's just hope it's the latter. The next film on the list is The Housekeeper. Directed by Richard Eyre and written by Rose Tremaine, The Housekeeper is described as an evocative romance, fictionalizing the inspiration behind Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. Starring Uma Thurman, Phoebe Dynevor and Anthony Hopkins, the film follows the character of Danny, a housekeeper at Maundy Hall, a historic English house owned by a wealthy widow who falls for the beautiful novelist Daphne du Maurier. Now, this is the film I'm probably the most curious to see, because if they have done the research and have taken the time to explore and portray the complexity of Daphne du Maurier's relationship with her own sexuality in a tasteful and intelligent way, then this film could be incredible. However, if it's nothing more than a salacious, money-driven attempt to sponge off of the popularity of and interest in du Maurier's novel Rebecca, then it could end up being crude and tasteless. I think it's always a gamble when you are reimagining the life of a real person, and the thing is, as a lesbian, I recognize the complexities and layers of du Maurier's relationship with her sexuality, and how in a lot of ways Rebecca is a case study in internalized homophobia. And I don't trust non-lesbian creators to comprehend that, because 9 times out of 10, they don't take the time to listen to or research lesbian history and perspectives, and instead they end up projecting their own ideas, biases and fantasies onto their work. So this is definitely a film which could go either way. We'll just have to wait and see. The next film on the list is Be Ordinary, which is a Taiwanese film directed by Tracy Chua, and it follows a woman named Xin at various stages of her life, portraying her journey with her own sexuality, sense of self, family, relationships with women, career, and general navigation of life. So this film sounds as though it portrays a continual journey of self-discovery and acceptance throughout adult life, and that, alongside the poster art, suggests it has the potential to be both a thoughtful and visually compelling watch. As a bonus, it's always interesting from a cultural perspective to watch lesbian cinema from outside of the Western world, so I'm quite excited for this one. And the last film on this list is Her Kiss, Infectious Lust, which does sound like a questionable title, but as I understand it, it's related to the context of the story being set in a hospital. I don't know that that makes it any better, but anyway. Her Kiss, Infectious Lust is a Japanese film adapted from the manga of the same name, or a similar name which I don't care to repeat, and is about Sana, who meets a mysterious girl, Kusaka Ayane, during her time in hospital. Often visiting each other's rooms, the two start to become closer and closer, with Sana eventually developing feelings. However, as the time for Ayane's discharge draws closer, Sana needs to find out if she feels the same way before it's too late. I couldn't find who the director for this film is, so if anybody knows who it is, please leave their name in the comments section. Thank you. Now, this film is probably going to be appreciated by people who enjoy a slow burn, will they won't they type romance. From the poster, the film seems to be going for a fairly wholesome and cute vibe, and I get the impression it's aimed at a younger demographic. However, the manga is somewhat adult in places, so I'm wondering what direction they are going to take this film in. I would assume that it's going to be a sanitized adaptation for obvious reasons, but we'll just have to wait and see. Either way, I'm sure this production is exciting for fans of the manga, and it will be interesting to see how the two contrast and compare. I think I might skip this film purely because I just feel like I'm too old for it, but you younger viewers can let me know how it is. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on these upcoming releases, and if you know of any other lesbian film releases coming out this year, be sure to put them in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe for instant disappointment, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!